Okay, it's the end of business day inspection, and Azra and Dadag are here looking at the future work. That beam that runs along the top there being 30 centimetres high. It's that's the spine of the building, so that's the big one. But yeah, it's looking pretty solid. I like it. It looks like there'll be a bit more steel weaving and formwork for a while before we get another concrete day. There's the beam that goes along that back row of columns, and then there's cross beams across the top of those to the centre columns and to the back wall. It's a new day, and as is customary, it's bucketed down rain overnight, particularly between 5 and 6 this morning. So it's monsoon season now, so I guess that's okay. I was just talking with Azra, which is always fun because he has as much English as I have Indonesian. So we have enough that we can communicate, but not perhaps subtleties. But yeah, so tomorrow he and Dadang are going to go off and buy the metal for the roof. So presumably somebody will start constructing trusses for that. I'm going to have a shed. Woohoo! We can finally get rid of a whole lot of stuff out of the house that's been there since we got the shipping containers from Melbourne. That really should belong in a workshop or a storage of some kind. And that means we can have a neat and tidy house again. Hooray! Wasn't a starting proposition to have visitors until we managed to achieve that stage, but we're getting closer to that now. Although I wouldn't recommend that they come at this time of year because it's going to get damn wet. And you can see these bricks here are all for along the inner side of the canal. And sometime I'll bring out a tape measure and get the exact dimensions of how far that canal is from the back apron of the building and how much lower, how deep it is, how wide it is and so forth. And I'll update my drawing to match that. I might even put that, I don't know if I can put that angle in there very readily. I feel spots of rain. I think it might be time to run for it. I just conferred with Dadang, and this wall is going to be 1.2 metres high. That might keep sheep out, but won't keep chooks out. They'll just fly over the top. Formwork for that heavy duty beam that's going to be the spine of the building. So you can see that the south slope is going to end up higher in the middle than the north slope is, and that difference is the vertical gap between the top and bottom roof is going to be polycarbonate sheeting to let light in. And I was asked recently, do you want to paint it? Yep, paint it white, maximum light inside, just like the house. Interesting little overhang at the end there on that front rainwater gutter. I wonder why that is. I wonder what's down the other end is different. Nice bit of rendering on the west wall. And I was asked about the inside of the tanks. I think they've got a tile floor in there. And I said, well, we really want to do the walls as well to minimise the surface contact of the concrete with the water, because the water will come out otherwise with a fair load of calcium in it from the concrete. And I'm not quite sure what that will do for the potential fish in the aquaponics system later. Yes, I'm sure that's sinking in, but we'll extract it at some stage. Can't rain forever. A few little fruit trees planted along here. Looks like corn over there, and chilies, and maybe melons. Stuff grows here like crazy. So I'm hoping with some cocoa trees at some point, a couple of those. I'd like to have them to have time to grow some cocoa pods so that I can make some chocolate before I get too old to do so. So there's steel weaving going on up top. I should go and have a look, see what's happening inside. Now, I grew up as a country boy before going off to uni, and I was accustomed to watching where I was walking closely. Firstly, to avoid stepping in cow shit with thongs, because that's not a very wonderful proposition, and secondly because of snakes. Consequence of that is that you're walking along looking down, and you don't see when you run head on into bamboo pieces like that, which I did on the way down here. So I'm going to remember to duck this time. So we're getting formwork on that heavy central beam. You may wonder why there's a big one on top and then a smaller one below. The smaller one below is offset in this direction, and that is the ledge that the steel trusses, web trusses that will hold up the front part of the roof. That's the back edge that they sit on. They sit on that at one end and the front wall at the other end. So there's some nice rendering going on the inside there. The experience from our house, where it's the same construction, so single layer of bricks covered with render, with metal reinforcement periodically, it's damn strong. It had a few cracks in it from an earthquake a couple of years ago, and the 6.6 in January last year only added a few more. It's got no fear of it falling down, and this place is going to be even stronger as far as I can make out. So I reckon come a 7.0 this will still be standing. Might have a crack or two, but it'll still be standing. And they're starting to put up the formwork to support the beam that runs along the back row of columns. And the pieces that cross the top of the gantry crane to brace the two sets of columns either side of that. So there'll be another one from there across to here, and one from there to there. And then of course they go to the back wall as well. So it's all braced and braced and braced. Normally, when there's an earthquake, you exit the buildings. I think this is the building you go into. Well, I'll get out of the way and let them continue. Dodging these strings top and bottom. I've taken a couple of forms off a couple of these sloping beams at the front. And this looks like the concrete vibrator has eliminated a lot of the voids that we normally get. This is good. Well, given it's sunny and so incredibly humid here, it's starting to get unpleasant outside, so I need to go back inside to where my fan is. I don't have AC currently because the grid is running on half power, which means LED lamps are illuminated and the electronics on AC systems are displaying displays, but there's not enough to run motors. So no compressors, which means your AC is not actually working. It's just saying U8 at the moment, which I think means probably low voltage. I could run my off-grid connected AC system, but that sucks a lot of power, so I don't want to do that when we've got other loads. I might just go and see. It might be enough solar at the moment that I can run that too to cool the lounge room down for a few minutes. Well, there's still quite a few bricks left. See how many of those they use up building the wall, or fence, whatever you want to call it, on the canal. Should be an impressive structure when it's done. That's a real forest of timber. I'll start transferring money for the deposit for my second off-grid system tomorrow. That'll be months away because quite a lead time on those with the global lithium shortage. But thinking that in the mornings it's going to be a bit of a delay getting the sun on the panels because of those nice tall coconut palms. But no, small sacrifice. That thing on the back of my house over there is a light sensor. It's basically for turning on and off the outside lights. So that's the one that controls whether this fluorescent here in the middle, well, LED, equivalent of fluorescent, it's the one that turns that on and off. And there should be another one of those sensors around somewhere. I hope that can be found again, because I'm thinking the outside lights on this building, where you just put that one of those sensors in place and just have the outside lights come on and off automatically. Because they do have outside lights on here all night as a rule. And frequently they have inside lights on all night too. Not what I'm used to, but you know, different strokes for different folks. But I'm thinking that I could have low power LEDs around the outside and just have a couple of more powerful ones in the porch area here that I can turn on at will. But yeah, it's all a little way in the future yet. But this is the state of play at the end of the 2nd of January. So you reckon I'll be having a roof on this by the end of the month? Hope so. Well, I'm told that the next deliveries will be sand and metal for the roof. So it'll be the usual galvanised U-channel for making up the trusses and the flat galvanised sheets for the roof. So they'll probably be delivered to here and then carried around. Well, there's been another delivery of steel, so I wonder what that's for. Can't think there's room for fit much more steel into my roof. But well, it could be for the construction that's going to go on here, but I kind of doubt it. Interesting. As you can see, it's been raining again overnight, and even more than usual, this road is a bit wet. Yeah. Strangely enough, my youngest stepson hasn't gone to school today because it's a bit wet to get there. And accompanying the rain is lots and lots of clouds, so there's bugger all solar panel input at the moment. Fortunately, we ended yesterday fully charged, and I put myself onto low consumption overnight, so we still had half the charge when I got up this morning. I think we're down to about 48% currently, so hopefully the clouds will clear a little bit before we get too low. But yeah, I'm not going to go out there and see what they're up to, but as you can tell, they're mixing concrete or mixing mortar. My concern at this point is that whatever they put down is going to get washed away. And we also have low voltage on the grid electrical network at the moment, so electric motors aren't working, which would include things like pumps. So I'm not quite sure where they're getting the water at the moment, other than out of the sky, or maybe out of the buckets. But this cable here running across from the woodwork shop, that's running off the off-grid system, so they'll still be able to continue working. But yeah, it's resisting down pretty well. Yes, bucketing down. Oh yeah. That's what's coming off the south, well, part of what's coming off the south side of the roof of the house at the moment. This is also coming out of the spout at the far end. Okay, that spout is locked, so it's coming over the edge of it. I'll have to sort that out later. But yeah, it's I've said it before and I'll say it again, it's a wet old place in Backles. And not only is it wet, it's a bit windy as well. So it looks like they're stripping some of the formwork off at the moment. I don't know whether it's a concrete or mortar mix he's made there. I guess if they're undercover in the tanks there, they can keep sticking tiles on the walls. But other than that, whatever they're going to do is going to get rained on. Once more, think about the occupational health and safety aspects of that guy just walking up that concrete beam. No safety barriers. It's just going to hurt if he falls down. So I sure hope the clouds thin out a bit, because the last time I looked there was only about 200 watts coming in from the solar panels, and we're using about 1200 watts. That's not sustainable for terribly long. And it's about time my genset had a oil change too. Well, actually, it's long overdue. I must remember to mention that to Dadang sometime.